heading.
Let's get back to the renaissance of Africa and development. What are the two things you would do for Africa to be able, let me even reduce it, to Uganda specifically.
Yes. Number one,
Uganda, what would you do to spur it to levels of growth and development that are
number
desired?
one, I would make my own money, and I would not balance it, or I would not back it by the American dollar or any other currency. In fact,
then it wouldn't be money.
What is money?
Weighed against what? Because money...
American money is weighed against what?
Gold.
Which gold? My God, you said you have internet. Check, they don't have any. It is just paper. It's made up by tanks and F-15 fighters. They have no gold. It is the Federal Reserve has no reserve and is not federal. It's a private institution. Hey, you disappoint me today.
No,
Yes,
you actually disappoint me. I know.
The Federal Reserve.
This is where we differ as students of economics.
Wait. Okay, now let's talk economics.
The student of history and the student of economics will differ completely.
I am not only a student of economics, I am a teacher of economics. And I'm going to teach economics on your show. And I'm a teacher. I can't afford to be ridiculous. I am coming on your show to tell you that the Federal Reserve, first of all, is not federal. It's not a government agency. It is a private institution owned by 12 individuals. And it has no reserve. The dollar has no reserve. It is just paper with graphics on it. And how dare our country, backs its money
against the dollar,
against a piece of paper which somebody prints. When the Secretary to the Treasury in America wants money, wants to buy, for example, Uganda Airlines, let's assume, he is not going to say what. He orders the mint. He asks them, how long will it take you to print this? Yes, I know truth makes you laugh. Why do you think they're having trouble with Russia? Because Russia is buying gold, and it is moving away from the dollar. And China is the same. China is moving gold. Look at the countries that have now the largest collection of gold. You'll find Russia amongst them. Russia and China. They want a currency that is backed by gold. And Uganda has gold. What they would do is they would make our currency gold. Which means 1 gram of 1 shilling, if it was gold, would be now equivalent to about 120 of today's money, Uganda shillings, which would be about $50. Our shilling would be about $50.
If it were gold.
If it were gold. And we have gold. So instead of letting this gold hemorrhage out of the country, we would get this money and turn it into gold.
The gold standard.
That's the gold standard. You've got it. Do you know how it started? People would come, they deposit gold here. Because gold is heavy, it's very heavy, you'd give them a piece of paper. Now, when they get to Masaka, instead of coming back when they want to purchase something, they would pass the paper to someone else. That is why when you look at the pound, they say promise to pay on demand, a demand note. So now, most of the money is fake money because it is not backed by gold.
We said in the past. That passed on.
No, it is today. This is not the past. This is today. The world reserve currency, even this Dominic Strauss-Kahn that you hear now in France that they are saying that he was whatever, he also wanted to move the world away from the dollar. And the moment he mentioned that he wanted the International Monetary Fund to set up its own currency other than the dollar. And that is the real battle between America and Russia. Because Russia has seen that the rest of the world produces real goods and America only prints dollars. And if you want to destroy that country, the best thing you could do is move away from the gold, from the dollar.
Let's get to the second one. You say that you would put the currency against a gold standard.
Yes,
that is the first one.
That's the first one.
The second?
The second one, I would not allow any foreign banks to operate in this country. No foreign banks. Now, let me tell you
that only happens in North Korea.
I've told you Ethiopia. Ethiopia doesn't have foreign banks. It doesn't happen in North Korea, no. Let me first explain to you why. Federal fractional reserve lending. Fractional reserve lending is you have, if you have 4 banks, for example, Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, Bank D. If I take $10 million, by law, the bank is allowed to keep 10% of what I've deposited and lend out, the rest of the percentage, 90%. So if the bank started with nothing and I came and deposited 10 million, it would reserve 1 million, it would lend out 9 million, but at interest. Yeah. Now it will take actual collateral. It started with nothing. It has 1 million reserve. It has a portfolio of about 12 million, and it has somebody's house, which it has taken at a fraction of what they call, first sale value. But the person who gets this money now goes and deposits it in another bank, like 9 million. The bank now takes 10%, which is 900,000, and lends out 8.1. And that person goes and deposits it in another bank. So one deposit creates money about 90 times. Fractional reserve lending allows the bank to create money out of thin air. And whereas it creates money out of thin air, it actually lends you money, lends you that thin air and takes actual collateral. Once you understand that, then you understand economics. You need not know anything else. If you don't understand this, anything else about economics will confuse you. And bring to Mzime Mtebire on this show and ask him about fractional reserve banking and phantom deposit. When you go to the bank and deposit money, or you ask for a loan, the bank doesn't go out to sell matoke and get the money and give it to you. No. After making you run around, they say, Mr. Chivazo, we now have the money. You can go and check. It's on your account. So what they have done is a computer transfer, what we call a phantom deposit. But you know what Chivazo gave them? He gave them the title for his house in Lunguja.
Viewers, I take a break and I return with Professor Kirankuba.